Hey guys, it's your friend John here, and today I'm going to be doing another dollar store weapon build. I did a couple of them in the past, and you guys really seem to like them, so that's what I'll be doing today, only I'll be making tiger claws or a tiger claw-like weapon out of things you can get from a dollar store. To make this dollar store tiger claws, the first things you're going to need are a plunger, 3 smaller sized knives, and 1 long wooden peg. You're also going to need black paint and some wooden toothpicks. Those are going to be all the things you need to make this. Okay, first thing, take off this stupid plunger end. I'm not going to be needing this. Next step, peel off this stupid sticker. Alright, I finally got it off. What? How did this get here? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my knife, and you can see I already took the handle off this knife right here. I basically took the handle right off, so I have the blade, and I'm going to do that to the remainder of these two. What? Again? Now that I got each blade out of the handles, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take it to the belt sander, and I'm going to sharpen them a little bit because they don't really have that much of a point. So I want this to have more of a sharper point so it can do more penetrating damage. I finished sanding down each knife blade, giving it a sharper point, and even though it doesn't look that much sharper, trust me when I say it's a lot sharper and it can do more penetrating damage now than it would have before. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it right here where I marked it out. What? How did this get here? Now that I finished sanding down both ends on my wooden handle, giving it a more round and smooth look, what I'm going to do next is, you can see I have 3 marker points on my wooden handle, and those 3 marker points are evenly spaced out, and I'm going to drill a hole on each one, and each hole is going to hold my knife blade when it goes in. What? How did this thing keep popping up? When you're done getting all that glue in, just force it in the bottom so it can really get in there. Alright, that sounded a little weird and a little wrong, and I just thought of it now. Now that the blades are in my wood handle, and now that the glue is 100% dry, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to sand down this back area. Before, it was just an open area or an open space, and what I did was I put some wood filler in there, and I let that wood filler sit and dry for a full 24 hours. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand it down so everything is smooth. Alright, perfect. Everything feels smooth. So what I'm going to do next is I have my two little wood pegs here, and you can see I flattened one side down, and the reason why I did that on both of them is so it can have a better bond on the back of this. If it was just rounded and if I were to glue it on, it wouldn't have a good bond, but now that it's flat, it has more surface area, so when I glue it on, it will have a better bonding and more surface area for it to grab onto so it doesn't peel off over time. And if you're wondering why I'm going to glue those two wood pegs on the back of this, well, it's because the handle is a little small and kind of rounded, or it's very rounded. And I don't want that because if this is being used, this small rounded handle can very easily roll around in my hand, making it a weaker grip. So if I make the grip a little bit bigger and not a perfect round circle like this and make it a little more long in the back, I'll have a better grip and the grip will be more firm and this won't roll around in my hand while it's being used. When you're done taping it up so it has good pressure when it's drying, just take a wet rag and just clean up all that glue. So now that the glue has finished drying on my wooden handle, what I did was I sanded it down to clean it up, and I also sanded down those rough edges so it'd be more smooth and more comfortable to grab while I'm holding it. What I'm going to do next is the blade edges are really sharp around my fingers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten those sharp edges so it's safer to use, so as I'm using it, I don't accidentally stab myself or cut my fingers while I'm holding it. So now that I've finished sanding down in these areas so it's flat and not sharp, and now I can safely use it without slicing my fingers, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some black paint and I'm going to paint this entire handle black. What? Come on, really? Alright, I'm gonna paint it black now. Now that the paint has finished drying, I'm adding the clear coat to it. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any clear coat at the dollar store. They have an arts and crafts section where they sell a bunch of different colored paints, but I couldn't find any clear coat. Maybe they sold out. Either way, this is going to be the only thing I'm adding to this weapon that isn't from the dollar store. Now that I've completed my dollar store tiger claws, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them outside and give them a strength test. But before I do, please be sure to subscribe if you're a new viewer or you haven't before, hit notifications so you can be aware every time I upload a new video, like the video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, let me know what you think of what I made. What? Now how did this get in there? Hold on. That's better. And finally, if you want to help me get more viewers and possibly more subscribers, please share this video. Thank you. Alright, I'm now inside with my tiger claws, and I want to see what type of damage my tiger claws can truly do. What I have right here is a water jug filled with water and surrounded by cardboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what type of damage my tiger claws can do to this. I'm going to penetrate it and see how much damage can be done with this. Alright, I'm now going to test my tiger claws on this. This is an old potato that I have. Now I'm going to see what type of slicing damage my tiger claws can do to this. I got myself another old potato, and I'm going to test it again. Oh, that's pretty good. So, now that the testing is over, what are my overall thoughts on these tiger claws? Well, I have to say, it's really good, and I'm quite surprised on just how much damage these little tiger claws actually did. Now, the tiger claws aren't perfect. There are some issues with them, such as where the blade is. It is a little flimsy. It doesn't feel like it's going to break out or anything, but it's just not a solid feel. But that's really my only issue with this weapon. It's just the blade area is just a little flimsy, but that's my only complaint. Other than that, these are pretty solid as a weapon. And these tiger claws did a lot of penetrating damage to the water jug surrounded by cardboard, and it did a lot of slicing damage to both potatoes. So these are pretty lethal for such a small little dollar store weapon. Also, a weapon like this, or a weapon similar to this, did in fact exist historically. There's not a lot of examples of this weapon because not a lot of people had them and not a lot of people used them, but I still think it's a pretty cool weapon just to have. So I'm going to wrap things up by saying thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dollar store build video. Also, please remember to follow me on Instagram and also follow me on Reddit. Join my community on Reddit, but please don't follow me in real life. That would just be a little creepy.